And Justin, I was going to ask if you can hear the sound that sounds like a hard drive grinding, which is weird because the hard drive in the computer is a solid state drive. So I have no idea what's making that sound. Just wonder if it's coming through on the audio. Yeah, you hear me, but do you hear that like hard drive grinding sound like? All right, cool. I can hear it very clear, but apparently the mic's not picking it up. It's sitting on top of the desk here. All right. Let's see. Live on the YouTube. Welcome, YouTubers. Remember to like and subscribe for more content. There we go. Ta-da, there's me. Yeah, you see how fast I figured out I was the host. All right. Justin's here. Steven's here. If you got questions, anybody about services, they're here to help. Some of my team members. We're going to get started top of the hour, about 2.5 minutes or so. Countdown timer says 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Welcome one, welcome all. Hey, Gigi. Hey, Matt. Hey, El. If you are new here tonight, today, whatever this afternoon, this, good morning, good evening, good night. If you're new here, let me know in the chat. I'd love to know who's new. Give you a big welcome. All right, TT, if you can put your email in the chat, Stephen, my man here, will get you taken care of. In fact, he's sending you a message now. All righty. Anybody got any problems? My man Stephen here, he can help you out. If you're missing anything you've ever desired or tried to buy from me, let Stephen know. Stephen's probably sitting there going, what? All righty. I'm showing 5 o'clock. So let's go ahead and pop my screen over. There we go. Get the chat pop back up. All righty. Okie dokie. So how's everybody doing? We have made it through another week. 11 days into 2022, right? So if you're new here, you're brand new to this whole thing, please let me know. I'm Jeffrey Turnmeyer. I'm been trading just about my whole life. I mean, I started paper trading in 3rd grade or so, maybe 2nd grade. I don't remember. Honestly, it was a while ago. So we're going to talk about some crypto today. Talk about what's going on a little bit, maybe. So this is my weekly appreciation webinar. I do it for to appreciate all those followers that come out and see me. So Sandy Williams is a brand new person tonight. So welcome, Sandy. We'd love to have you. Hopefully you'll learn something and get a little tidbit and want to stick around. So, all righty. Let's jump out of this. This looks like Gatlinburg right here. My man Steven picked this slide today. There's a little shot of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, just up the road from where I am. So, little preview here. I'm going to go through some symbols today. This was my idea for the day. There's another service that does a webinar that they let the people vote on what they want to see. And this was the list for today. So I was going to go through and check out some of these today after I give my general market analysis. So big thing, I mentioned that NQ was likely to pull back to this 144 EMA if it couldn't break and stay above that 618 up there. And we talked about that back in December, and we talked about it last week on the fact that it was failing right in here to stay above the 618. I zoomed down to the 15-minute chart and showed a little minor bounce at the end of the day that needed to hold, and it didn't hold. Like, immediately in the few hours after that, it did not hold. So, Dave, that's gonna be on your problem. I'm sharing the screen best I can, so you may have to check your settings on Zoom. They did just update. So, I have up a chart of NQ right now, which is the NASDAQ futures. If you're not familiar, I use the futures because they trade like 23 hours a day and 5 days a week. They start on Sunday nights and end on Friday nights, and they keep trading all night. So there's not gaps in the chart, and it helps with the Fibonacci levels and the things I do, helps predict the moves a little smoother without having gaps in here. So anyway, we had looked at, I left the arrows on here, so let's scroll back in time just a little bit, roll back over here, fly back a week ago, if I can. What day was that even? There it is. So we had this move. I was saying if we can pop up above there, great. If not, then we were probably going down. Down it was. Like, not, it didn't take long after that. I think Wednesday last week, we were on the way down. So look at the daily, back to it. What the heck? There we go. So on that daily, we hit that 144 EMA yesterday. Members in Discord saw my live updates as it was happening. We bounced right off the bottom of that orange box that I had from back over here. Brought that across. We bounced right off of that support level. And today was a green day. Now, right now, I kind of expect more green days. Green days. Good, great band, right? But we do have the 618 level coming up right up here, right around 16,000 and change. 16,075-ish maybe. You see the number right there. We're gonna have to break through that. And again, if we bounce down off of that level, like if we find resistance there, come up here, find resistance. We find resistance in this area right here. That could set us up to make a lower low. We could go down through and visit some lower levels down here. That's something to watch out for, be cautious of, be aware of. If you're super long, super heavy, this is a precarious position right now, especially in big tech. Now, I'm kind of biased. I think we're going to go up and make new highs. I had some upper targets up here, and I think this pullback right here sets us up to really get rampant. You can see my projection right here of this pullback puts us right up into a confluence on the bigger pullback we did back here in October. And this pullback we did right here in November. All these kind of confluence is just a fancy word that means the fib lines line up together and it hits in this area right here. I don't have the one from October drawn on here, but it lines up. This one in November lines up, and this one in December into January here, or I guess it's all, started in December and January here, all lines up right here at this 17,000 level. And then it also lines up right up here on the 17,700 level. So right now, those are kind of the two targets. They have pretty strong resistance on both of them. So we may see price come up here and bounce down and then bounce up and then bounce down again. Not entirely sure yet. We'll keep coming back to these weekly things and we'll work through it. But if this breaks, if in the short term here, if NQ breaks through this level right in here that I talked about just a minute ago, right around 16,000. If we break through there with any kind of gusto, we could be up here even before next Tuesday. Like this could happen very quickly. You see, the last time it happened, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, we got up to the top. So this can, and this one right here at the end of December was a lower high than this one back here. Everybody wants me to get rid of the spaceship. Slightly lower high than we had back here in November. So that was a 3-wave retrace right down into the 144 EMA. This could set it up for a powerful move up. So just watch out though. We got to break that level. We got to break through the prior high. We got to break through this resistance that is kind of accumulated in here too. So lots of stuff, lots of resistance. That's why it could be a powerful move that just blasts right on through all that stuff. So keep an eye out. We had this powerful move that came down right through all that stuff. We can go right back up powerfully back through it. Jumping over to the broader market, the ES, S&P 500, we held a higher low. I know I got a ton of lines on this chart, so let's try to move a few things off here. Get down to where we can see. All right. Remove some of the stuff. So this one did have a higher high right here. Made this higher high zone. It bounced off that target zone I had on there. And we came down. And now we've got this series of higher lows that we've accumulated coming up through here. So there's also a risk we come down to visit this 144 EMA on ES on the daily. At the risk. Now we have a series of higher lows accumulated here. So it's kind of like the early warning sign. If we break through there, then we may be coming on down. Right now, we've bounced strongly off that trend line that we have going. Roughly like that. Bounced up. So continued move higher is the expectation right now. We're on a fib in here. We're going to come up into resistance. We kind of stopped the day at the resistance here, 47.15 area. We're coming into that box where all these highs were before. See these back in early December, we made some top tails. I call them topping tails. They're wicks of the candle that stick up on these daily candles, and the closes are the tops of the main body of the candle were all kind of about the same level all the way across there. So bringing that box across, and that's right where we stopped today. So, all right. Charles, it seems to be an issue on the new update of Zoom. I am sharing a screen though. So that's what we got right now. All right. That's ES. So we're in this resistance. We're right at the resistance zone. We need to break on through. Tomorrow could kind of tell us what happens. My wife says, hey, everybody. And hey, back to her. All righty. So moving on down, Russell. All right. Well, teaching fib projections, that's how I do it. That's one of the things you come join me for if you're interested in how to actually use these fib projections and make predictions. Right here, Russell still stuck in this giant freaking wedge that we've been stuck in since February of last year. That's like a whole year old now. We bounced right off the bottom of it one more time. Bounce right off the bottom once again. Held a higher low though, so that is a bullish setup. Still looking for it to get up to this area, break this high that it did. Was that last week? Breaking up through that high, bullish. Still kind of the same thing over and over and over. I keep saying the same sort of stuff. I just keep pulling this wedge out further and further. Eventually, we're gonna break out. All right, oil. Well, I said last week, I remember very distinctly, once we broke out of this consolidation box, we're going back higher, probably return to highs. We're well on the way, pushing up. We're going to at least return to this high around 86 and probably head up to 88, if not 100. So keep an eye out. If you're not ready for higher prices on oil, higher prices at the pump, you need to reevaluate. So yeah, Gigi says, don't spook it. I'm with you. But I'm pretty confident that we're going to see this run up. You know, it could very well could retrace because, you know, an ABC, this thing could stall out, but it's breaking through the 786 today, which hopefully sets us up to return to high. See if it meets any resistance there. If it, you know, breaks right on through, we're looking at these higher targets up here. The $100 price comes from this confluence of fibs up here around this area up here. It's not quite as clear as like NQ. Now GC bouncing off this, you know, this trend line of the lows up through here. I had this little poke back here in December. Just kind of ignore that one because it was right at this cross of the downtrend and the uptrend. It tried to break down, rejected it, tried to break down this last Friday, I think it was. Couldn't do it again. Breaking above the high right here. So getting above 1830 sets us up to retest this resistance around 1885, 1890, and back to 1920. These are the same levels I keep saying every week. So we just gotta, you know, we're waiting on this one to actually break out and go. So what Julie says, what would be a good oil stock or ETF to get into? So my favorite is UCO. It is a leveraged oil ETF. You can see the chart looks a lot the same. We got stuff drawn on here. I've been looking for it to pop up to this 150 area up here. So I actually did a report back in July on UCO, and that position paid out. I closed it out. If anybody's still with me on that profit wave report, but there is an opportunity to maybe position yourself for a move out in this summer, running up into this 150 area. So I was hoping it would get there by the end of the year. We kind of got a pull back into December here, and it set us up for this just now returning to highs here this week. If we break out, we can see this move up to 150-ish, and it could take out late spring, maybe into the summer. I mean, you kind of look at this move that took, you know, we went from here to this high here. If you brought that over just like this, you know, we could be stalling out right here. But if you projected it on up from where we are, you're looking out late March before we got up into this area. If it just keeps on that same slope. All right. The UCO is my favorite. Another one people like a lot, USO. You see, it does have kind of the same look there. Got my Jeffrey trader name on the chart. So this one, though, is not going to, you know, it's going to go from 58-ish to probably 65, whereas UCO, it's a leverage ETF. It's going to go from 98 to 150. That's like a 50% gain versus like a 20% gain. So, all right. I promised to speak on Bitcoin. Check this out. Bouncing right off of this long-term level over here. This thing's been on my chart since all the way back in June. This orange box. I just keep pulling it across. We bounced off of it one more time. It's getting ridiculous, right? So we bounced off of it. What was resistance back in the summer caused us some resistance late in the summer, caused us some support into the fall, tried to run up here in the winter, came back, and we tested it again here in the winter. Hopefully we can move away and leave this zone behind instead of keep on testing it. So that's my hopes for Bitcoin right now. I do have a chart that I posted for everybody in Discord. All my subscribers get access to Discord. Let's see if I even have it in the free channel. That looks like it right there. Yeah. So I had this chart I posted up of Bitcoin. Let's make it bigger so everybody can see just a touch better. And there was a fifth wave projection I put down here that showed up right at where it bottomed. Members of Crypto Power Plays actually have that updated chart, but it bottomed out over the weekend right at that 5. It was right there, you know, the tail that we had dropping out, I think it was yesterday even, hit right on that point, and we're set to go higher at this point. But just like all the other charts, you got to meet the fib ladder. You got to keep on making positive signs. One of the things I've found in crypto is that if you can get 3 days where Ethereum and Bitcoin together move higher for 3 daily candles, 3 green candles, then we tend to kick off a bigger run. And it's happened back here. Green candle, green candle, green candle. Both Ethereum and Bitcoin had that same pattern in October, and we went on this nice big run on both of them. So that's something to watch out for. A little just high level trick. It's 3 green days where you see Ethereum and Bitcoin, which represents over 60% of the entire crypto market. When both of those are green 3 days in a row, we tend to kick off a bigger run that lasts up to a month or so. So just keep an eye on that. All right. Moving on down. All right. I said I'd go through some other charts. Let's see. On the list, first up was NVIDIA, NVDA. Usually I take requests, but we're just gonna go through this list this week, do something a little different. All right, so NVIDIA looks like it was on a path to get to that 144 EMA. And I mentioned that when it broke this low, that it could be heading there. It couldn't hold the, it tried to push down there yesterday, couldn't hold it, but that's still something to watch out for. It still could push down to this 144 EMA. Move it on over here. So it's still in the possibility until it starts breaking back above, making a new high above here. So it's still in a caution zone. All right. All righty. And GDX. Next up is miners. We do have an open echo trade on GDXJ. Now the difference is between GDX and GDXJ. GDX is the big cap miners and GDXJ is the small cap miners. And that really just has to do with their company size. So this is companies like Barrick Mining and some other ones like that. So right now we have this, what I call, what it looks like. Yeah, this is the measured bounce setup right here. So you go from the swing low, 0.1 to a 0.2 up here. And when it reverses down and touches the 618 level, that is the measured bounce setup. Now your entry point to go long, it's not going to show up on the daily chart here because there weren't enough candles. We flip down a little bit and the entry point to go long was right here on the measured bounce setup. Now, what kind of targets occur from a measured bounce setup? Well, we run the swing high to swing low, and we look at a move to 32.79 or 33.71. That's the measured bounce setup. Now, measured bounce setup precedes echo trade setup for those that follow me. So, I don't really cover silver as much. That's not one I follow as much, but I can look at flipping that up here as we get to the end. I do have quite a list to go through here that I pulled up ahead of time. So Tesla, flip back to the daily. That one did come awful close down here to get in the 144 EMA, ran up, made a lower high, lower than this one over here, and we've pulled back. So this could be a higher low setup right here. Could be the same sort of measured bounce setup. Let's run a fib and double check, clear off these other fibs. We'll go off the swing low, swing high, another measured bounce setup right there. Now, confirmation is not quite there. We need to get up above this pivot before I would consider that like an entry. You see where these top of these 2 red ones are right here? Breaking above there could be bullish. So that's one to keep an eye on. All right. MSFT. Oh, right down to the 144 EMA, just like NQ. Just like NASDAQ. What's up with Microsoft? That's what's up with Microsoft. It was going for that daily 144 EMA. I mentioned however long ago it was, looks like back in late December. If it couldn't hold the 618 level right there, it was probably coming all the way down to the 144 EMA, and it did it. Exactly like I thought it would. So that's kind of the situation. You either break out and continue higher, or you get a big retrace. That was the setup it had. IBM. All right. Well, that one. Let's clear all the lines off here first. Well, we're stuck in a giant box. Giant consolidation box. That's IBM's situation for the last year. Ran up here, ran back down here, ran up here. We're stuck in this box. We need to break out above 150 or below 113. Otherwise, I mean, it's a heck of a range. It's $30 range, $32 range, but that's what it's stuck in for the last year. So not much to say on that one. None of my stuff really works on sideways stocks too great. All right. At least not for the big, predicting big moves. I mean, how do you predict the big move on a sideways stock? Roku, I've been looking for it to go down, and it's going down. How low can she go? Well, we're nearing a point where it could find a bottom, could find a reversal here. Looks like. Let's check the bigger swing here. This one probably has, yeah, we're just coming up on a 50% here. It could drop to the 618 around 130. So this is the risk. If it breaks through this 50%, we could see a retrace down here. This makes a super big high time frame measured bounce setup if we can break back up through there after doing that. So that's one to keep an eye on. All right, T, my buddy Matt Fettig has T as a retirement play, and that chart right there. And what does everybody see? I mean, that looks like a down, down, down. This is a bounce off the 144 EMA daily. If it doesn't break above, it's going down some more. All right, that's the long and short of it right there. That's a downtrend for all. Like most stuff recovered in 2020, right? This one has not. I mean, it went sideways and then broke lower, bouncing off the 144 EMA, and looks like it's going to keep going down. I mean, that's what I see on T, old AT&T. All right, Amzn is next on the list. This one, if you've been following me, I've been saying how it's in this sideways. It did poke out right down here, tested the prior low from back in May, made a little poke, ramped right back up. So we need to see some bullish action. I mean, it's still stuck in this box, essentially. And pokes out don't count. While we do use the highs and the lows for using fib lines, the poke out is just like, it got a little too excited to the downside, but it still held this low over here. So still sideways, still looking for it to, I mean, at this point, it bounced off the bottom. Like I said, it probably might. I remember saying that sometime in the last couple of weeks. So back to the top. 37.57 is probably the next, probably on its way up there in some sort of zigzag fashion like it did over here, right back to the top. Now, if that top holds, it'll be right back down again. If that top if it can break through the top this time, off to the races. So that one's one to watch on Amazon. All right, next up, HD. The pole. All right, let's clean some lines off here. Looked at it before. Looks like a consolidation. Yeah, it's a high consolidation because it hadn't returned to the 144 EMA. Using the fib tool, let's do a wave 1 down, wave 2 up. Yeah, it could go a little bit lower here for this. See, this current pull down, this current move down right here. So this is kind of echo trade-esque right here. This move down, if this current move down echoes the first move down, it may pull all the way down to this 374.27 area. If it holds that, then we could get a bounce. That's like an echo trade setup. If it doesn't hold there, then it's probably going to hit this 1272 and the 144 EMA. So that's one to watch. While a lot of things had a green candle yesterday, green candle today, or a bounce, bottom candle yesterday, green candle today. Excuse me. Home Depot did not. It had a green bounce candle yesterday and a red candle today. So that's not looking so hot. That's looking like it's going to go lower. So just beware. All right. PFE, we had a failed echo trade on this one a couple weeks back or week back, whatever it is, and pulled back a little deeper. So we had this little 1, 2, 3 in there. It was something like this. 1, 2, 3. made the 1272 a little deeper, and it just looks not great. It looks like it's set up to come on down further. So that's all I got to say about PFE at the moment. It's got to break out. Like, the big thing is this downtrend line of the highs right there. See how it rejected that today with a red doji? Let me pull it up, make it bigger. See that red doji right there today? Doji is just a candle where it has a little bitty body in the middle and two tails on either side. So that one bounced right down off of that trend line of the highs. So it's got to break through there to be any kind of bullish. It kind of had a lower trend line going before when we did the echo trade, and it faked me out right there and then immediately reversed on me. So now we have this higher trend line, and it seems to have a bit more significance, not just poking through. All right, next up on the list was BBY, Best Buy. I mean, it's got the daily 8 below the 34.8, daily 8 EMA below the 34 EMA. That's a daily downtrend below the 144 EMA, and it's kind of sideways for a good long time. So that one's not looking so hot. Looks like it's going lower, long and short. All right, VZ. Again, nice big fat downtrend, bouncing off the 144 EMA. Pokes through, don't really count much. We got to get something constructive on the other side, not just poke through and red, poke through and red, red. That to me says watch out below, just like T. All right. NLOK, not familiar with Norton LifeLock. It's not a stock I've seen very often, but we right off the bat, downtrend. Right like that. High, high. So you got the high right here. Well, let's do it with arrows. Got this high right here. We've got this high, lower high. Got this high, lower high. Bounced off the 144 EMA, made a lower high, bounced off the 144 EMA, couldn't get to the trend line, poked through the 144 EMA, came back up, tried to poke through this trend line one more time, and couldn't do it. I'd stay away until it gets something solidly up here in the 28, some closes, daily closes, more than one up here in this area. Then we can start looking for something higher. And if you were going to look for something higher, we go from the highest high to the lowest low, which those two are almost the same. And right there at the 618 level. So we got to see something constructively break up through the 786 level up here. Could run out to 30. And then above that might be 32, but I'd be very concerned about it. It would have to prove it can break through these prior highs over here. Got to start breaking through. All right. SLV was on the list. So whoever wanted me to look at some silver, you're in luck. So this one, I had already talked about this before. We rejected the 144 EMA on the daily, rejected it again, rejected it one more time over here since I talked about it last. Tried to break through. We got a few daily closes up and then right back down. So this one's set up for a move lower, and my target has been right down here around 19. Now, this higher low situation does look good, but we still have this resistance coming up at the 144 EMA on the daily right here, right around 2190 right now. If it takes a few more days, it'll be 2180. So this is like the proving ground test point right in here. We got to get through there, getting through there. And then we have this resistance we built up right there. We're going to break through that and break on up. So there's just all sorts of levels. And you got the 618 right here, 2376. So silver's got some work to do before it's going to get going. All right. I hope I hope Lucid is going to 50. That's Mr. Wang. I have some $60 calls myself. All right, CRWD. All righty. I'm going through a list. I got this list on email that somebody else was going to go through, and I decided to go through it too. So there's the list right there. NVIDIA, GDX, Tesla, Microsoft, IBM, Roku, AT&T, Amazon, Home Depot, Pfizer, Best Buy, Verizon, Norton LifeLock silver, and we're on the last one, CRWD CrowdStrike. All righty. So this looks like a hot mess. I don't know where people get their watch list, but this would not be on mine. So look at the lows there, up to the highs here. We're in a giant box. First thing I see right off the bat. And we're near the bottom of the box. Likely to test the bottom of the box at 169-ish. So no, I didn't cover HUT. And we're probably not going to take requests because I'm already at the half hour. So have to come back next week. All right, so CrowdStrike, that's what I see right there. Bounce off the bottom. If the bottom holds, if the bottom doesn't hold, we can see a deeper retrace. If the bottom does hold, return back to the top. And it can take months. I mean, this went from March last year till November. And then from November to January, we're right back to the bottom. So then the March higher again. Market tends to take the stairs up and the elevator down. So that was the stairs up and the elevator down. All righty. Just for a bonus, I'll cover VIX real quick. There's not a lot to see. You've got the orange resting zone down here. Moving forward, I believe that it's coming back. It's going to head back to it. All right. Just based on the stuff we had earlier this week, bouncing off, like NQ bouncing off the 144 EMA, like it started the day, it started the talk with. I think that VIX is probably heading back to this resting zone and probably going to make, since it made a, same sort of situation, same stuff all the time, right? Made a high, made a lower high, made a lower high. It's going to make a lower low, low, lower low, lower low. So right now, my expectation on VIX is a return back in here, somewhere in this neighborhood. We do have some lows here that could provide some like freak out support. Could get the next little freak out, make another higher low or lower high before we make a lower low. Now, you can see that that's been our resting rate for a year, like this orange box. So right now, I don't expect poking lower. We haven't really been lower than that since before 2020. So this is our playground for now, like rest in here. If you get in the lower part, definitely buy some longer term VIX out 2, 3, 4 months, cover a couple FOMC meetings. And then when you get a pop out of here, unload your VIX and then you load it back up when you get down in here. That's kind of the play. All right, back-to-back weeks, I sold VXX call spreads and made 70% or so. All right. Yeah, when my buddy Wiz, who runs Top Gun Options, says when vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's high, you sell it. I mean, that's entirely true. But you also got to look at the pattern here. Over here, we had we were on a ramp up. We had a high, we had a higher high, we had almost a higher high, we had a higher high, and then we had a much higher high. So that was like every time you came back to the box, you could, the pattern was going higher. Now that's a lower high, a lower high. So we come to the back to the box. Next time we get a lower high, just keep an eye on it. And this, we all, when you get one that only pops up about right in this zone, I did have a lower high right there. So if you get these ones where it's two little short ones that happen not too awful far apart, and that one right there and that one right there, draw an arrow to them, that one right there, this one right here, get those two little freakouts where we came all the way to the bottom of the box in between. That's when we reversed and started having these higher highs on VIX. These things move in a pattern, so it's a pattern of freakouts. All right, we look at what happened last year in February. We had these lower highs, lower highs, lower high, right into the March timeframe. A lot of this, this happens over and over, right? We started out January 2021 with a freak out. We started out January 22 with a little bit of a freak out. But I think the freak out's over for right now. When VIX returns to this box, we kind of reset to the next freak out. All right. With all that said, I appreciate everybody coming. I'm doing a free workshop this Thursday. We're going to talk about crypto in the age of adoption. I'm going to go through a bunch of information. It's going to be mostly informational. I will have a sales pitch at the end for an opportunity to join me on more crypto stuff, but jeffreytrader.com/workshop. Pop over there, sign up, come to our free thing. I mean, I'm going to teach you some stuff, go through some charts, go through some information. I've been collecting up stuff, giving it to Steven. We've been working together, building a big slideshow to show you guys and talk about stuff. And so we're going to do some education on cryptos during the age of adoption. So come join me Thursday, January 13th, 1 p.m. Not asking for any money. Just come join me for free. And we'll see you again next week, everybody. Remember, if you're watching this replay on YouTube, like, subscribe, come back next week and join me again for more content. We do this every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Eastern. So Gigi, thanks for coming. Matt, thanks. Diana, thanks. I appreciate everybody. Justin, John, thank you, everybody. jeffreytrader.com/workshop. And we're going to talk about crypto on Thursday. All about crypto. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Will. Yeah, thanks for shouting out Justin and Steven. They don't get shout outs much. Yeah, thanks, Justin and Steven, for helping me make this all happen. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Greg. Glad to have everybody. We'll see you again. jeffreytrader.com/workshop right there. Pop it up big. Special crypto training session. Training. Yeah. I'm a professional engineer, if you didn't know, registered in the state of Tennessee. So free thing, no money required. Come see what I got to say. Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later.